Let's see.
Okay, can we hear each other?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you good, Susan. Say something, Brooke.
Hey,
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
did you guys get my schedule?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's wrap
All
it.
right. All right, ladies. So I'm up first tonight, and I'm going to do my peer review of Brooke.
All right.
You ready?
Yes, let's go.
Okay. So, overall, I gave you a 4 pretty much on every aspect. I thought your content supported everything that was in the rubric. I went through it multiple times. There was just one thing that kind of stood out. I think I didn't really understand the, I guess the link between your after-school club offerings, what they were, and then an ability to increase your student proficiency, growth, or how that would be measured. But then when I looked at your appendix and the PowerPoint, like I could see the connection. I just wasn't sure if you needed to elaborate more on that in the narrative. But my problem is I have not read your task 1, so I feel like I'm coming in to the middle of something. And I wanted to have time to go back and read your task 1, and I just haven't. So, and so that might be the problem.
Who read my task 1, Kristen or Rita?
I think it was me, Brooke. I got papers out
I
there.
don't think it was me. I think I did.
I think it was Rita. So I think both of you maybe asked like why I kind of talked about the SIP at the beginning of my paper.
Mm-hmm.
You remember you asked why I talked about the SIP
Yes.
survey. I drew that from the task 1. Like I talked a lot about, we have low student climate. We have students don't really feel that teachers care about them. Their grades don't represent who they are or what they know, which is what I talked about in task 1, which is kind of where my vision came from for doing all of this project. So I didn't want to be redundant in task 2.
Right.
Everything I said in task 1, but I also didn't want to start task 2 without giving you where I was coming from.
Okay.
So
and like I said, I feel like I'm coming in the middle.
Yeah, you kind of are.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to judge if you have answered everything. According to the rubric, you've answered every single question.
Yeah.
I just had some holes in my understanding that I don't have that prior knowledge as to the before.
So I can, to answer your question, I mean, I guess I can go back into the narrative and talk a little bit more about how it's going to be.
And like I said, once I went all the way through the paper and got into looking at your appendix portion to make sure everything tied in, I could see when I read that where you were going, or, you know, the connection. I just wanted to make sure, and maybe it's not necessary in the narrative. I just felt like I didn't understand it.
Until you saw the slides.
Right.
Okay.
So there is clarity there, though. So, I mean, there were no major issues with your grammar, spelling. I did make a couple of notes of some of those things on the peer review that you can see those.
All right. Thank you.
I thought you did a great explanation of why you didn't have the video recorded and as to why you would only have a bi-monthly meeting instead of a weekly meeting. So I thought you did good to clarify those points.
All right.
So, good job.
Thank you.
Okay. So it's my turn for Brooke, right? Okay.
Yes.
You just clarified your percentages for your school improvement plan, so I don't think we need to go back over that. That was one thing that I did note on Brooks as well.
And when I went back and read it, I do need a sentence that says why I have that there. So thank you.
Yeah, and towards the end of your because I noted that at the beginning, and then you know, as I read it again, just to make sure, I noticed at the end it was more clear.
Okay.
So and that's why I said please don't change it on my behalf. Also, if I mean, to me, everything I'm like Susan. I just about could give you all fours. I think you did state that you were maintaining confidentiality with your video, so that's good. The quality was really good. I could tell you're honest with your PLC members. I thought that was nice that you're not trying to, you know, fluff things up. This is what happened. This is the information they gave me. That's what I have to work with. So it seemed very honest and truthful to the profession. Just a couple grammatical errors. I think I have this problem as well. On your first page, it says initially the candidate, Miss V and Miss B, who share a common planning to discuss integrate assessment data and student participation in school clubs. Is that a fragment?
I have the same thing on my sheet in the comments. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah. You both got it. Yeah.
Okay.
And okay. And just, you know, on the same page up at the top, at your second percentage bullet, maybe that I needs to be capital. Just simple things like that. And really all I have for you, I was about to say on page 3, I had written down to add the state district averages, but then I looked closer at your chart and I noticed you do have the school, the district, and the state averages on there as well. So I think you were very thorough with that. But other than that, everything looks good. There's one point for clarity I was looking at where it says due to the lack of cooperation of staff to give the candidates student participation numbers, demographic information was not collected.
Yeah. I need to reword that. I know what I'm trying to say. I just said it really poorly.
Yeah, I ran in that today while working on task 3. It was like, oh, you know, this isn't very clear. I've just got to try to reword it another way. But that's all. I think everything looks really well. Your conclusion is really clearly stated. Your appendix looks good. Do you need page numbers?
Say that again. Do I need what?
Page numbers.
I added that after I submitted it to Blackboard. So, yeah.
Okay. I'll just have your, you know, that day you submitted, I printed it off so we could get this done. And that's all I have. Everything looks great.
A question to both of you, and Rita chime in also. You asked the relationship, like, how will I see this need be met? Like, this isn't going to be an end of the year measurable goal. Like, if we put these things
you need to say that.
This is going to be a long-term year, next year, 2 years, 3 years. That's okay. I mean, correct?
I think you need to explicitly say that. Because that was one of my questions about measuring and how will this look. So I think it's in there, you need to say this is an ongoing.
Okay. Because the child, the character, you know, a kid is more important than any test score.
Oh, agreed. Yeah.
I will definitely state it in there.
Right.
Definitely.
Very explicitly say that.
Okay.
Is this part of your school improvement plan?
It needs to be. No, it's not. It needs to be.
That's why I was thinking it would be a good thing
That would be
to
good.
add to that.
Okay.
Are you on that committee, Brooke?
I made myself a part of it.
That would be something good to add to. I know you all have a lot going on at your school, but that would be good because I think it's going to be a good project.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, girls.
Yeah.
All right. So we're on Kristen's paper. Rita, you're up.
Rita, I'm doing Kristen. Kristen, I thought you did an excellent job. I'm excited about your paper because it's we're kind of in the same situation with our schools and our scores and things. So I'm always excited to read yours. I thought it was a great paper. I like how you let me make sure I'm reading the right one. I like how you broke down the your chart on page 3. Let me make sure I'm on the right. On page 3. And I was looking also because you don't have page numbers, so I was just kind of going. But I wanted to see on the page 3 where you have the chart, Kristen. I didn't know if you needed to put like the year up there to make it, you know, more
a chart heading.
Yeah, like maybe like for 2015, 16, whatever. But I will probably kind of consider putting the dates up there. That way you can see it a little bit better. But overall, I thought it was great. I saw a few just mechanical grammar things that I put down, but it seems like a long list, but it's not anything major. But I did want to see, I'm not quite sure about when you're doing a sentence at the beginning where you have 10%. I don't know if you spell that out. I think you're to spell it instead of just putting 10 since it's the first word. I'm not quite sure, but you can check that and see that was one.
So spell out the word 10, like 10%, spell it out.
Right, because you had 10% as your first word, and that's under the data collection section.
Okay,
and there's a couple other things there, but overall your AP style was great. Your charts look really great. I asked you about the in-class charts, how you got those, because I like to find that data so I can be able to look it up for my students. But I thought it was a great job on it. I didn't really have any major things. I just put on the back, I'm not quite sure what page number it is, but it's the one that has the TRC chart at the top on the left. If you can explain that just a little bit more, because we know what it is, but just so somebody come in like Brooke, who's middle school, that they would kind of know, especially where you have the written comprehension you talked about and where you see the oral comprehension, if you would kind of just explain that. But other than that, I thought you did a great job.
all right.
Great job.
Are you ready for me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I agreed with Rita wholeheartedly. I thought you did a great job, especially with your data. Like, you have very good data, and you explain your data very well, which is helpful. Like, not under every chart or table or whatever data you have visually laid out, you do a great job explaining it, which is helpful. Teach other grade levels to understand what you're trying to do. So you do an amazing job with that.
Thank you.
My main question is, the more I read it, and I read it a couple of times, and I don't know if you've seen my feedback sheet. But my question is, do you think it's fluency that's your area of greatest need, or do you think it's the writing component? And I say that because of a couple of statements that you make in the paper, and I don't have page numbers, so but if you look under chart 4, you have several sentences towards the end. You say many of these students demonstrate reading fluency, however they're lacking the ability to write about the story. The written component of the text to reading comprehension is a new concept to first graders, resulting in an increase of red and yellow scores.
Okay, and those scores.
So it makes it seem like that's what's causing them.
It's a domino effect. And that's kind of where it's difficult for me to clarify and pinpoint the actual issue. So I'm taking it all the way back to phonemic awareness and phonics. So I do need to clarify that a little bit in the paper. There are some.
Seems like from the narrative, you're leaning towards
the written.
So,
and that is a concern for what I teach. But I think I learned a lot through doing this paper and actually looking at the data. So I do need to go back and narrow that down to the phonemic awareness aspect, because that's more of what we're gearing towards in task 3. We've traced it all the way down because that's the bottom step to being able to comprehend. Ultimately good readers comprehend at the end. So that's more of, and I teach second, so that's more of what I am teaching is more of the comprehension. At this point in the year. But I did want to note that there is kind of a discrepancy between, it kind of hits them like a brick wall in first grade in the middle of the year, because that written component is there. But if they don't have the fluency to go with it, and they don't have the phonemic awareness to go with it, then they're not going to be able to write and comprehend the story. So somewhere in there, I need to clarify that.
And you just did a beautiful job explaining it, to me. So I feel like just a sentence or two in that section that goes along with what you just said, because you said it wonderfully. So, I mean, I just feel like just to clarify in there
Yes.
the points that you just made, I think would be helpful.
And I'll put it right there in that section too, Brooke. Kristen. I'll put it right there in that section that you're talking about with that word many, right there in that section.
Okay, I made a note of it. Also, Susan, I think it was Susan, said something about, the reading level on that same page.
Right. The G student and the G book and
yes. That is correct, because that's what knocked the child back down to a G, is the written component.
Okay.
I just wanted to add that in there. So,
right. I mean, it was a great example. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I understood what you were saying.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I've done TRC because I did 3rd grade, so I'm familiar with that. I'm with Dibble, so I did it from the 3rd grade, and by the time they were in 3rd grade, they were past
the fluency.
The EF where they had to write, and fluency wasn't as big of a component. So I just feel like you need to put something in there about the conversation we just had about
I can
the
do
writing and the phonemic awareness part. So,
all right.
But good job. You did a great job. And like I said, I feel like every time I look at yours, because I've read it numerous times now, I feel like I need to do a better job explaining my data, because you did an amazing job with that.
Thank you.
All right, so Susan, it's my turn.
All right.
I don't agree with what you just said. Like, I really like reading your papers because I feel like I'm talking to a real person. Because I have the perspective of being the middle school person in the group. So when y'all start talking elementary, I don't know what you're talking about. But when I read your paper, Susan, I do understand. So I appreciate that. I really, really like your first paragraph. Are you there? Are you on your paper?
Yes, now I am. Yes.
You made a point to say you wanted to make sure your group doesn't look at the data and just immediately start talking negatively about your grades or your scores. You wanted to make sure the PLC remembers your norms. Like, I appreciate that, because adults like to talk junk when you get together. So I like that you did that with your group. I almost understood everything. The one thing that I needed clarification on was your chart, your very first graph, which is on page 3. It took me several reads to understand what that chart was telling me. I think you said underneath the chart that that's the state mean, but I didn't get that.
Okay.
So maybe just a header.
Okay.
Just be because I don't know what that, I don't see that in my mind. Also, your font is really weird in the chart.
Okay.
But like I said, like, I understood this and I was proud of myself. So like, that's a good job on your part that I understood this. Also, I liked, and I'm going to use this in my work from now on, that you said the candidate created this chart. Like, that was a learning experience for me. I never thought about doing that. For your descriptors, the candidate created.
I didn't want it to seem like I
took that from somewhere.
You know, a lot of times, like with NC report cards, we go and pull their data. I wanted to make sure they knew I didn't.
I love it. Love it. My only suggestion to you is going back to the first paragraph. Make sure the first time you use an acronym that you identify what it is. So you did that with PLC and EOG.
Okay.
And I highlighted one more thing. Oh my gosh, I lost it. Too many papers.
I know.
Sorry, girls.
It's okay.
Too many papers. No, I don't know.
If you think of it.
We'll come back. I mean, your work is fabulous according to me, and I know you just said you didn't think it was. I said that everything was clearly unpacked. The data is awesome. I gave you 4s on everything except just that nitpicky stuff of identifying everything.
Okay.
Sorry I couldn't be more critical, but I thought it was great.
Thank you. All right. Who else had me?
I think I did. No, I know I did. You did a great job, Susan. And you know what? We're beginning to become family because we're starting to think alike. I was thinking the same thing what Brooke was saying about the chart on page 3. I was thinking about the font. I'm not sure, and I'm different when it comes to font because I have like vision impaired a little bit, so I wasn't kind of clear of the wording on the chart or the font. So kind of check that out. But I did like how you noted the reasoning down underneath that. That was very clear, and I like how you noted your needs throughout your paper. It just wasn't at the beginning or stated at the end. You noted it throughout the paper so the reader can still remember what the need is. So I do like that, and I need to do a better job on that. I like your graph that you made that the candidate created, as Brooke just said on page 4. That was really good. That was very clear. I like that explanation of that. Just a couple minor things as far as the mechanics go. Let me make sure I get on page. I think it was just one thing that I had. It was down on page 4 at the bottom where it has standard is. It's together. Just need a space.
Okay.
And that's the very last word. The very last word. Your other chart, and this is just a question because I just want to know for myself because I saw it and I thought about another teacher that needed some help at my school. But your chart that's on page 5, is that actually the actual state breakdown, or did you break down it yourself to make it more clear for the paper?
Which chart?
On chart 5, I mean page 5.
Hey, yeah, that's what it was.
Page 5.
State data.
Explained so well. I just wanted to know, did you just create that yourself, or is that exactly like something that comes straight from the state?
I pulled the data is from the state, but I created the way I.
Okay, because it's so clear. You know what I'm saying? And we had to do something at school for for our scope and sequence.
Right.
That 4th grade teacher was having difficulty, so I was like, man, this is so clear. So I just wanted to make sure, but you did a great job on that.
Thank you.
So great job.
My question was about table 2, Susan. I got a little lost. I'm sorry, Rita. Did I just interrupt you? Were you done?
Yes, I'm good.
You sparked it. When you were talking, you sparked it in me. So when I'm reading your last paragraph before table 2.
Before table 2.
Is there any on the paper?
Okay.
I'm pulling it back up. I closed it. So give me just 1 second.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I want to be able to see which one we're talking about. All right, go ahead.
I can't tell from my paper. Your chart looks like broken almost on my paper, or like the format is a little off. Like your left side of your chart is complete.
I think I saw that online like that though, Susan. Wasn't it when we were looking at them online? I think there's something else that was in that little block. You're talking about that little white spot.
Is something missing? I can't tell if something's missing on your chart or not.
No, it's the way it's set up on the report card.
So it's supposed to look like there's a gap.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure you had all your stuff, babe.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Looking good though. Looking good.
Yours look like that, Rita, when we copied and pasted when I helped you the other day. Did it taste like that?
Yeah, same thing, same way.
Okay.
Same way.
Okay.
And I thought it was kind of weird too because I tried to move it up and put it together, and it was just, I was like, okay, let me stop. Yeah, same way.
All right.
Okay.
But great job, Susan. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're looking at Rita's paper.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I think everything looks great. Your appendix is very thorough. Just maybe make sure that you cite your like you have your kindergarten data wall, just make sure when you use it in the paper that you cite in parentheses like appendix 2.
Okay.
You know, on page 2, you talk about the Board of Education decided to take all 3 schools and bring them together. Would that be consolidating?
Okay. Change that to the word consolidation.
I think so.
Okay. And, okay.
And the sentence above that, I just noticed a period and a comma put together.
Okay, what is that? Oh, I see it. I see it. Got you. Okay.
And on that same sentence, the candidate school, you said, had just gone through a transformation due to the low performance of 3 inner city schools.
Mm-hmm.
I would take out has and just put the candidate school just went through.
Okay, so take out has and then just went. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So just on that page, just a few grammatical errors, you know, just nitpicky stuff. Maybe kind of like with my paper, we were talking about TRC scores. I'm on page 4.
Okay.
Maybe take out, just because I think it may be your first use of TRC, maybe just say text reading comprehension.
Okay.
That's what that means.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
The first time you told me.
So I need to make it clear. Good job. Thank you, Kristen. I will.
And
That's precious. Oh, now I know what that means.
Hey.
Your charts look very nice. Your first chart on page 5. So you mentioned something in your narrative about this shows the kindergarten teachers in which students need interventions. So this is the low performing kids on chart 1, or is this your school as a whole for kindergarten?
That's all 10 kindergarten classes.
Uh-huh. And I understand they're relatively behind.
Right.
So that's why so are you saying they all need interventions, or?
For the most part, we have like 6 that are on reading where they should be.
Okay. So, and those are all of your teachers?
All 10, yes. And I have that stated at the top of the chart. You see it there with the little colors and their names?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the second chart, what am I looking at exactly there? Those are the MOI scores.
Okay, the on chart 1 is the beginning of the year that we do in September.
Okay, so you compared beginning to middle.
To middle, yes. And then the chart 2 is the middle, so you can see the growth.
Oh yeah, I see the growth. Okay. Oh, and at the end, and I think I spoke with you on the phone about that the other night, just on page 7, just, well, I would just about cut off after due to the lack of knowing their sight words, the student scored poorly on the TRC reading assessment. When you said after identifying the need, the team began, when they began kind of talking about the intervention, I would save that for task 3.
Okay, so where I'm saying after identify the need, leave that sentence.
Let's see. After identifying the need, the team began discussing what is in place that is already in place. When you do progress monitoring, the school-wide, and you explained what progress monitoring is.
Mm-hmm.
Were you going into discussing? Okay, I see where you're discussing progress monitoring as something you're doing now.
Right.
It seemed like when I looked at it, I may have looked at it wrong. You were discussing things that you could do later, like teachers. So you're saying teachers are now working 15 minutes 3 times per week with deficient skills such as alphabet. Are they doing that now?
Yes.
Okay, I see now. Okay, I think that's fine then. I thought you were going to use some of that towards your task 3 and were kind of telling us ahead of time.
No, I'm good there, I think.
Okay, good. Okay. So you're just stating what you're already doing.
What I'm already doing, right.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have 10 minutes.
Okay.
And I think I'm good there, Rita. Everything looks great. Your citations and your reference page, your appendix page, everything looks great there. Great job.
So you just tell me to go back and put the appendix after, like, cite the appendix number, page 4, whatever. Okay, I'll do that.
When it's used in your paper.
Okay.
All right, I'm next, Rita. Page 2.
Page 2. Okay.
Fill out PLC for the first time.
Okay.
And Kristen's already mentioned this. When you're talking about the schools combining, it gets a little hard to follow.
Okay.
But she already touched on that. The only thing I don't think I heard Kristen talk about, and she might have, I'm sorry if she did, at the bottom of that sentence, or sorry, the bottom of that paragraph, you said, with that being said, the team's concerned about the data now. Do you see where I am?
Mm-hmm, I'm there.
That all of these schools have, oh, wait. No, wait, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong sentence. You looked at the report card for the 2015-16 school year. Which report card? If it was for last year and the schools were still separate?
Okay, say that again now.
Okay, you looked at the report card from last year, 2015-16.
Mm-hmm.
But you said the report card and the schools were still separate.
Okay.
So what report card did you look at if the schools were still separate last year?
What the team was saying, and tell me, they were saying, look at our school where our third graders were, even though now we don't have them because eventually our kids will get there. They want to look at their report card and see what the scores were so we can really focus in on what our need is because we're trying to get them to do better than, you know.
But were there 3 schools last year?
At that report card is just my school.
So I think you should clarify what that school was because
Okay.
it has the report card.
Okay, let me put that down. Clarify what school. Okay, I will.
I put hearts all over my paper on page 3. And I'm not a hearts girl, by the way. At the bottom, below the chart, where you started talking about, like, in kindergarten, this is why we need to do this, because we have a responsibility for these kids all the way through high school. And you're talking about kindergartners. Like, I loved your bottom paragraph.
Thank you.
I loved, like, these kids need to do this now because we want to put a diploma in their hand. I absolutely love that.
Thank you.
And on page 4, I circled TRC because I'm like, please tell me what TRC is.
I'll write it out.
I also got lost 2 sentences below that. I have no idea what PC and RB.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe, okay, so can I ask Kristen a question? I know you're reviewing, but Kristen, on there, because since you know about PC, should I put like print concepts, reading?
Yes. And that's why I didn't even note that because I know what that is.
Okay. So
I thought the same thing because I've read everybody's.
Okay.
I like to read other, you know. So when I understand this, and I
You
thought,
have to think like your evaluator. Your evaluator, you're not going to know where they're coming from.
okay, I'll make a note of that then.
Okay, chart 1. I had no idea what those things at the top of your chart meant. If they were kids, if they were,
Okay.
no idea. So I didn't know what I was looking at.
Okay. So I need to put like teachers or, I mean, something.
You can just do that in the narrative. You can put that in the narrative.
Okay.
Page 6.
Okay.
Once again, I had my little hearts and I was like, you were giving me the why. Your PLC is talking about why you're doing what you're doing, why you're having these conversations. Loved it. On page 7, bottom paragraph,
Okay.
It took me a second to like see where you were going with this. You just wrote action plans. And when I hear the word action plan, like I think teacher action plan because the teacher's not doing what they're supposed to do. So I was like, what does an action plan have to do with this? So just student action plan.
Okay.
But like, I was just nitpicking because, you know, that's what we're here for.
Okay, thank you.
I thought everything was great. Your appendix is full of information. In your on page 5 of your appendix, I don't know if you caught this in my peer review. Like I was like, you go girl, like you're already hosting a parent night, like to help them with sight words and reading. Like you're incredible.
I gotta get these kids moving. I'm nervous about this group.
But like you can tell from your PLC, you can tell from what you're doing, like you really do want to help these kids. So like I am super impressed.
I do.
We have 4 minutes.
Okay.
Just please tell me what things mean. When you use 3 letters, I really need to know what you mean.
Make sure I write it out. Okay. And you told me, Brooke, you told me on that chart 1 to go back and write, what did you tell me, the teacher's name, or what did you tell me? Oh, you said write it in the narrative.
I never would have known what those blocks meant.
Okay.
I mean, I probably could have figured out they were people, but like just, I was like.
I don't want to infer. I want them to know. Okay. Thank you so much. Great. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
But it was awesome. Like I'm nitpicking because I don't know what acronyms mean.
Thank you so much.
But they were fantastic. I love that you put the Y in your paper. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Okay. We have 3 minutes.
Do you have anything for us, Rita?
No.
Did we do everybody?
I'll probably call you all so much during the week and text you during the week.
I missed you guys. Like I haven't
I
talked
called Kristen twice today.
I know every day I'm looking like, who's going to call this morning? Who's going to call today? Who am I going to call?
Kristen seems to be, not that the rest of you aren't, but I don't know what it is about when she explains some data, but.
Yeah, she's good at that.
And I had some data questions today. I'm like, I'm calling Kristen.
Look, I called her last night. Well, I think I called her. She called me, and I was talking about that data. I sure was. I was like, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
3.
You do a great job with that, Kristen. You really do.
Thank you.
That's
your
definitely a strength. Yeah.
That's your strength, girl. That's your strength. That's going to be good as a principal.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. We only have 2 minutes, but just quickly, since we're done with peer reviews, do you girls want to Zoom Saturday again or no? You good this week or no? What do you want to do?
Are we good this week? We know the answer to your question.
I know we're not good, but I know everybody's freaking out about task 3, so I didn't know if we'd need, you know what I mean, to focus on that, or if you, I mean, you know, I'm all in.
I'm in,
I know
but
everybody else might not be. So.
I'm in, but if my husband doesn't go away, this is his weekend to go to the hospital. So if we're out, it's kind of hard at the hospital. But if not, I'm good for it. But I can let you know before if I'm not going to be on. But believe me, I'll be calling and text you if I'm not on.
I actually have a hair appointment, as you can see.
We can't tell that.
In the morning. That's why I turn the lights off before I Zoom.
I turn the lights out too.
On her.
So, yeah, so I do have that.
I'm jealous.
The only time I can go is Saturdays.
I mean, we don't have to do it. We've been doing it every Saturday, so I wanted to ask to know if you wanted me to set it up. You want to play it by ear and just do it if we need?
Yeah, I will say play it by ear unless we get kind of in a tight and we need to see each other for a few minutes and touch base. Task 3 is a task.
Now, with this assignment that's due tomorrow night, do we only upload? We don't upload the papers.
Just the peer review sheets.
Just the 2 sheets.
Yes.
And we're putting those up when tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
They're due tomorrow night.
Yeah.
For task 1 and task 2.
Because after, who did the thing last time? I went ahead and put the date on, the YouTube on that one. So when you do this one tonight, I just put the YouTube on and then put them on up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Kristen, you'll send us the link or whatever?
Yes.
I can do it. You can do it.
That's what I said.
Brooke encouraged me, and I did.
I guess I'm next. I guess I do it next. Dang it.
I have your
You
directions.
encouraged me, and I did it that night.
All right.